Doko welcomes you all to a new recap. As you all know, DOKO loves anime, and if you like anime, then Doko loves you too. Gojo is a freshman in high school who has a fervent interest in making Hina dolls. When he was a child, he saw his grandfather's work, he fell in love with them and made a promise to create the best dolls. However, the harsh reality is that not everyone I admire your efforts and would find fault with them regardless of what you do. He voiced his first criticism to our Gojo when he told his dear friend about his passion. The girl was startled. She finds it strange that a boy has such a stupid interest she disapproves of his work and leaves him. They have never spoken since. For the majority of us, it will only last a moment. Move on. However, it was painful for Gojo. When he heard it from his friend, he was shocked. In addition, he has never discussed his interest to anybody, and he preferred to work on his passion alone. Following the death of Gojo's parents in a car accident, he has been cared for by his grandfather. Grandpa Gojo owns a store where he sells Hina dolls he designs. It's not a particularly lucrative occupation, but he adores it, and it is enough to eat for both of them. He always worries when he sees Gojo working on Hina dolls and demands that he join his friends for a night out. Gojo is a boy who is gentle and kind. He never tells a lie, but only to make sure his grandfather is unconcerned because he lied about having a lot of buddies. But he can't hang out with them because their club activities keep them busy. This makes Grandpa look bad, even though it's a lie. Feels significantly less worried. Gojo has continued to live the same life as a result, where he works on Hina dolls every day. Until one day, a blonde girl comes along, heading his way. Marin is her name, and she is the most well-liked and the most stunning girl in the school. She gives Gojo her apologies after getting up in case was injured, however. A peculiar mark on Gojo's arm stands out. Her full focus. She inquires about it out of curiosity. However, Gojo swiftly releases his arm and states her not to care. It's an early ink stain that Gojo got while working on the dolls in the morning. He also doesn't because of his previous experience. Want to make her feel scared. Gojo examines her after Marin leaves and admires her character. Marin is popular for more reasons than just her beauty, but also because of her upbeat demeanor. She enjoys making friends and talks openly about her love of manga and anime. Marin is well known for excluding guys based on they disparage her interests. Marin is not the type of girl to fall in love with a boy if he's handsome. She prefers a man who loves her above all else and looks out for her interest. Gojo admires Marin as a result of all of this. A few students request after school ends. Gojo must go to their part-time job in order to complete their work. Gojo does the work instead and does not object. Marin immediately enters the room and begins cleaning the lecture hall. She and the other student were present today in charge of cleaning, but upon seeing Gojo instead, she informs them that they are exploiting his generosity. Gojo is aware of it, but he dislikes denying request. Marin becomes enraged. She couldn't see anyone doing what they were doing. Does not enjoy. She inspires him to advocate for himself, since nobody else will. Since Gojo's last interaction, a week has passed with Marin, but he keeps thinking about what she said about being open about whether or not you like her. The sewing machine suddenly stopped working. It is sent to Grandpa for repair, but it was several days. Therefore, Gojo, after school ends in the interim, uses the sewing machine in the club. This is much more extensive than the one in his house. Gojo is contemporary, and its smoothness is astonished by the outcomes. Marin enters the room shortly thereafter. Gojo drops by accident as he panics the puppet, but he quickly moves it away from the ground, keeps it. He is pleased to see that the doll is unharmed, but when he quickly realizes his predicament, Gojo attempts to demonstrate that it's not as it appears. Marin, however, is simply amazed to see that Gojo is able to sew. She begins to praise after she examines the doll. How attractive it is. Gojo is overjoyed to hear it. He hasn't seen anyone else like it. Age really enjoying the Hina doll's beauty. Marin abruptly alters her appearance by using an outfit that she has been creating. She shows him a picture she tried to make, to print. Gojo unleashes his inner artist upon seeing it out. Marin's lack of clothing prompts him to start scolding her. A lot of details and not even close to the picture's aspect. However, Gojo quickly realizes that his words are harsh, and Marin wept as a result. He asks for forgiveness and gets down on his knees. Marin, on the other hand, is okay with it and is not angry at him. Marin declares her undying interest in manga and anime. She wants to be a cosplayer because of them. She asks, however, because she cannot sew. Gojo to assist her in realizing her goal of becoming someone she admires. No one has ever praised Gojo throughout his entire life. His output. He then makes promises and feels indebted as a result. To give it his all, Marin breaks out into song and dances in enjoyment. Marin worked with Gojo to make the costumes. Hands over a manual. Gojo makes promises because the weekend is coming up to begin the subsequent work. Marin seems annoyed, but he agrees. It's Saturday the next day. Gojo answers the door when someone rings it. Check, assuming it is a client of theirs. Shop. Marin, on the other hand, has come to get the costume. Since she couldn't wait until Monday, she looked for the address of Gojo's shop and arrived. Marin immediately enters the residence and enters Gojo's bedroom. Gojo is freaking out as she looks around, out to see that a girl has visited his house. Additionally, his fear grows when Marin takes off her clothes so that Gojo can measure her. Gojo finally finds the strength to start measuring the objects. He writes them down one at a time in his notebook. However, in terms of measuring Marin's melon sizes, Gojo panics and asks for her to do so on her own. Marin talks about how hard it is to measure alone, as she consistently achieves diverse outcomes. Gojo gets close to Marin. He takes a deep breath and shakes violently, breath before taking the measurements at the end. He has completed the measurements with it, but at his mental health's expense. Marin gives the DVD of it before they leave, and to assist Gojo with the outfit making. Gojo is overjoyed. He diligently studies the anim. A lot of strange noise is coming from there at night. Gojo's space. Grandpa therefore investigates it. He is shocked to see what he sees when he opens the door. His grandchild with so much adult anime, a level of dedication so high that he simply greets him and continues to watch it without any concern. Grandpa is aware that Gojo is old enough to such experiences, so he decides not to. He interrupts and walks away. Gojo awakens the following morning after dreaming of Marin's bad behavior. He got the job done in every episode he watched, and he now feels guilty as a result. He is having trouble making friends at the school. Only says one word to Marin and makes eye contact with her. Response. Seeing after Marin and her friends leave based on Marin's closeness to Gojo. Some girls begin rumors that it would be disgusting if Marin is engaged to Gojo. Gojo can hear them because they are loud enough. He comprehends what they are saying, and following that, he doesn't listen to Marin when she tries to talk, and escapes. Marin is sad because she has no idea why. She's ignored by Gojo. She gives it another shot and tries after school, soliciting Gojo's company. Gojo, however, declines and flees. To ensure that he does not meet anyone, Gojo sits for a while Marin waits at the station. But Marin suddenly appears at that exact moment and astonishes Gojo. She is furious and demands to know why he has been abusing her. In the end, Gojo admits that he heard people talking about them going out, and he thinks it would have an impact on Marin's popularity and other aspects. Students. Marin suggests Gojo without hesitation that they ought to begin dating at that time. Marin provides Gojo with the assurance that she's just playing games with him. She advises him not to dwell too much on other people's opinion and simply follow your passion. She takes Gojo shopping while holding his hand. Gojo shows the items when he gets to the store that must be purchased in order to complete the ensemble. Marin is amazed by Gojo's amount of work. Has only worked for 2 days. They begin their shopping immediately. They finish it off with a bowl of ramen in a store nearby. They discuss a particular topic as they were leaving, seen from the cartoon. They play a mature character in the scene, are discussing it in such a casual manner that the line workers at the office are speechless to observe the rapid maturation of high school students. Marin shows Gojo some of the on their way home, the cosplayers who truly inspire her. She does, however, observe that Gojo does not offer praise them. Gojo apologizes for his foolish viewpoint, but for him, praising another person's beauty matters a lot. He was so inspired by his grandfather's work. Inspired by the beauty, he hasn't been able to compliment the beauty of someone so casually. Marin, on the other hand, doesn't mind at all. She actually values his viewpoint. Marin tells Gojo about the before she leaves cosplay event that will take place in about weeks that she will spend in the costume. Gojo begins to panic upon hearing this. Gojo has created Hina doll costumes, but to create for a real person about whom he is unsure to finish it before the cosplay event gets started. And as he considered Marin's sad expression, he increases their worry. When Gojo gets home, he expresses regret to his grandfather for not disclosing him earlier that he was planning to shop with his buddies. Grandpa is overjoyed to finally hear that the grandson is engaged in something other than Hina dolls, a packet, and a shopping bag both suddenly fall. Of leg stockings are revealed. The grandfather experiences shock and falls. He had to endure the pain because it was too much. Be put in a hospital. Concerned, Gojo's cousin arrives. Given the circumstances, she asks Grandpa to rest for a few days in her house. Grandpa does not wish to burden anyone, however. He agrees because he must require some time off to recover. Gojo tells Marin about the incident at school. Marin knew how much Grandpa's health had improved. Meant for Gojo, so she offers him comfort. She provided her phone number in case as if she can assist in any way. Gojo heads to the after exchanging the numbers. Class. He sees a notice about their midterm on his way out. Tests begin the following week. Gojo begins to feel anxious as a result of, on top he must study to make the costume. Exams, going to see his grandfather, and also manage the shop. Gojo is mentally ill just by thinking about all exhausted. However, actions must be taken. He thus performs all of the work until the following week. Alone and with dedication. The tests are finally over. Marin tries to converse with Gojo. He leaves, however, without paying any attention. To her, Marin goes to the house to meet him, but she cannot locate him. Marin is of the opinion that when the examinations are over, now that Gojo has some downtime, he must meet his grandfather. She is concerned about Gojo and hopes that he is care for his well-being. However, in actuality, Gojo is lying at his house, exhausted and suffering from stress-related illness of the entire work. He hasn't gotten enough sleep in days, and he even missed out on the chance to make the house neater. In addition, the costume is significantly not yet finished. Gojo is ashamed of his inability to fulfill the requirements of a person who values his work. Gojo develops a smile as he considers Marin's smile. Up and gets back to work. Gojo appeared on the day of the cosplay event, is now able to put the costume together, and is pleased to learn that Marin can attend the current event. Marin expresses her admiration to Gojo, that more such occasions occurred. Marin, even if he had taken more time, would have waited eagerly. She expresses regret for not telling him. Gojo, on the other hand, suddenly feels relieved. He is content to know that Marin and time existed, would have attended the gathering. Marin begins to weep. She accepts responsibility for thinking that after every test, Gojo was going to meet his grandfather early, and to learn that he had put a lot of effort into this. She regretted thinking it all the time about the costume. Additionally, Gojo apologizes for not informing her about it despite exchanging contact information. Gojo aids Marin after all of the apologies are made. Well dressed in costume, Gojo shows the pictures so you can choose the eyelashes of the dolls made by his grandfather. Gojo, on the other hand, is enthralled by it as he shows it. By the beauty, he begins to describe his aspiration to work as a doll maker like his grandfather. He soon realizes, however, that he veered off topic and professes regret. Marin doesn't care about it. She declares her unwavering faith in Gojo's ability to one day realize his dream. Gojo smiles to express his gratitude for the sincere words. Marin felt a sudden sensation at this exact instant, a distinct emotion she has never experienced before. Marin had never been attracted to Gojo before this. However, the pivotal moment occurs here. Marin wears the after everything has been completed costume and her stunning appearance. Marin is overjoyed and ecstatic to observe how the garment is flawless. Gojo takes a lot of pictures with Marin's phone. Marin only opens there because they are so delicious, an account for cosplay, and begins uploading them. Marin decides to attend tomorrow's because she is excited. Cosplay festival. They both make their way to on the following day. The incident, Marin is ecstatic to see so many cosplayers. Gojo, on the other hand, is anxious because everyone is examining them. Marin thinks it's most likely the dress. However, Gojo believes they are observing him for wearing a dress that was so casual. They head upstairs once they've settled down. A photographer approaches Marin as soon as they reach and requests that photographs be taken. Marin agrees without hesitation. She's never done it before, so she can't go. To miss this opportunity, the photographer then took the pictures. Fades away, however, soon more photographers will arrive to take photographs. Gojo is pleased to observe Marin's amusement. Gojo, on the other hand, realizes that he has achieved his promise, and Marin has no reason to socialize with him. It was a privilege to spend these days with her. Him overjoyed, Marin rushes ahead in panic just at that moment, explains an impending tragedy. Gojo inquires about it out of concern. Marin was reviewing the photos yesterday. She observed in her character that the character's melons are larger than hers. She therefore wore tenubras to compensate. Her clothes, on the other hand, are about to burst. Additionally, her attire is extremely heavy, and the color black is taking in a lot of heat. Therefore, they both proceed immediately inside the building and purchase some refreshments. In addition, to address the bursting issue, Gojo slightly lowers the zipper. They return to the house after cooling off. Marin thanks Gojo for everything on the train. He did in her honor. Additionally, that she anticipates working again. Gojo knew they would hang out again. Is overjoyed and promises to work on his expertise and hard work. Marin opens her phone to show her what comes next. Cosplay character, but Gojo is sluggish and worn out. Gojo compliments Marin while he is sleepy on how gorgeous she appeared today. Marin is taken aback because she recalls how Gojo values the beautiful word highly. She begins to blush profusely. Marin visits Gojo's home the following day to clean the wig. Marin is working while Gojo is reading the guide. Amazed by Gojo's expression, Grandpa arrives shortly thereafter from his granddaughter's house. He is shocked to see a girl at his house. However, everything is eventually clarified. Grandpa is impressed by the costume's quality. He's built. Numerous improvements remain, but the work gets done a lot. While Gojo and his grandfather are discussing, Marin realizes for the first time that she is obsessed with Gojo. She couldn't help but notice how adorable he is. However, an unexpectedly loud noise follows from Marin's stomach, and she is now ashamed of herself and no longer wants to live. Gojo made the decision because he knows it's late. Dinner. Marin is impressed by Gojo's diversity of abilities. Grandpa asks Marin as the meal continues regarding her parents. Sadly, it has emerged that Marin's a few years ago, Mom passed away. Additionally, the majority of her father's time he is absent. Grandpa is concerned and inquires whether she is having a nutritious meal. Marin displays photographs of the food she purchases from the grocery store. She always buys some frozen fried rice, fried chicken on ice. She consumes milk every day in addition to these, and consumes yogurt. Marin's well-being worries Grandpa, so he frequently invites her for dinner here. Marin is overjoyed and has promised to visit. Gojo drops her off at the station after dinner. Marin, on the other hand, is having trouble bidding him farewell. She hopes that this separation will not be permanent. She will soon meet him. Heavy rain falls the following day. Gojo's house is visited by a wet girl. She is noticed by Grandpa. He lets her in after finding out that she is Gojo's friend. Gojo will soon be back from school. Grandpa informs Gojo about this before they go out. A friend who has paid him a visit. Gojo begins to worry because he has no other friends. Marin is his. Additionally, she is currently working part-time job. He thinks it's a disguised thief. He cautiously moves toward the room, which is the source of the light. Gojo opens the door quickly. He is, however, taken aback to witness the little girl. They both get anxious. Gojo later apologizes and inquires about the reason for her visit. Sejuna is the girl, and she has arrived, here to ask Gojo to make her a costume. Gojo misunderstands Sejuna's objective, the costumes for the dolls, and he was thrilled to see young people interested in Hina Dolls. He inquires concerning her age in school. Gojo, however, is shocked to learn that Sejuna is a year younger than him. He had her in mind as a during all of this time, pupil in middle school. Gojo quickly takes note of the specifics and follows her to demonstrate the attire. When Sejuna sees the Hina dolls, he is impressed. She is, however, perplexed because these are not the costumes she's trying to find. She wants to know where the costumes that he created for a woman. Gojo makes it clear that he is not an expert and made the costume only at the friend's house. Request. Sejuna is a wacky person. She begins to threaten to make him the one outfit, or she will file a police report for earlier violating her privacy. Gojo immediately panics. He agrees as there is no other choice. Marin is coming soon. She is thrilled to see Sejuna because she is extremely fond of her costumes. Sejuna is a cosplayer who has 100,000 followers. Marin begins to swoon over her beauty and throws all inquiries regarding cosplay. Marin follows Sejuna's responses to the questions, gradually settles down. Gojo is asked to make Sejuna a costume of Lily the princess. This character's outfit is unavailable anywhere, and it's a real pain to make them. Consequently, after seeing Marin's picture and she only needed to ask Gojo for help with the costume, Sejuna shares contact information, her measurements, and additional information about the outfit. Additionally, just to ensure that nothing is misunderstood, Marin is informed by Sejuna that all she wants is to discuss the outfit with Gojo, but not as a result of her desire to flirt with her boyfriend. Gojo explains that Gojo begins to panic and they are not having any sort of relationship at all. On one side, Gojo is panicking and trying to Marin. On the other hand, is thrilled to clear up the misunderstanding. Marin also makes a decision after everything is settled to dress as Sejuna in cosplay, with the assurance that the cost of materials will be shared and any additional costs. Professional cosplayer Sejuna usually uses a studio for photography. She allowed Marin in because studios are expensive. Take part in her costume. Gojo visits Marin's house the following day to get the Adams DVDs. Marin makes the entrance. Gojo also enters. He is panicking. Gojo has never been this way before. To the home of a friend. In addition to Marin, he is becoming anxious. He has only one goal in mind: take the DVDs and leave the house right away. However, Marin invites him, so his plan fails. Together to watch the anime, they sit together on the couch and begin watching. Marin is blushing at the realization that it is similar to a home date. That being the only people in the house, Marin is both excited and nervous at the same time. She wishes that this moment would never end. But it didn't last long because her stomach produces noise. Gojo is aware that Marin must wait because it is late. He's starving. He makes the dinner on his own initiative. Marin, on the other hand, decides to make it. It almost seems like she is blushing because they have a wife. She goes to the kitchen with her excitement, the desire to create something original. However, she serves an omelet with rice at the end. Marin is disappointed that it did not come out. As anticipated, Gojo takes a bite and marvels at how it's delicious. Marin is overjoyed and vows to perform better. Future time. The following day, Gojo completed the anime. Then he gets to work on the costume. Saejuna sends him a message about a meeting, about going to the studio. Marin and Gojo meet up the next day, alongside Saejuna. There, they are shown to the younger Saejuna. Shinyu's sister Marin and Gojo, like many of you, are also shocked to learn this. Gojo was able to clearly see the difference, but did not feel the need to say anything. However, Marin simply asks directly about her size. Marin's question astonishes Gojo, a question that doesn't belong. However, Marin was referring to Shinyu's height, because Shinyu, despite attending middle school, has more height than Marin. Shinyu plays a crucial role in ensuring the best cosplayer is her sister. She is responsible for taking the pictures and distributing them via social media. The pictures were taken with her dad's DSLR camera. Come out really well. Marin must buy because of this, according to Shinyu. One for her costumes as well. Marin is exuberant. However, the costs are ridiculously high. She is prepared to put in a lot of effort to get it, as she works part-time. Marin inquires out of curiosity whether Shinyu wears costumes, but Shinyu says no. They continue their conversation before heading towards the studio. The best place is an abandoned hospital, the subject matter of the anime they are dressing as. Gojo notices that Saejuna appears to be somewhat uncomfortable. Gojo went up to her to check that everything was okay. Is okay. Saejuna is shown to be extremely frightened of haunted locations such as these. However, when Gojo suggests relocating of the building, Saejuna declines because this is the ideal location to put on the costume. Gojo is able to see how passionate she is. Concerning cosplay, he inquires as to why she asked him to create the costume when there are numerous more skilled designers available. Saejuna describes her first encounter with Marin's photo, and the outfit was like falling in love. She just wore it because it was made so well. Wanted to get in touch with the creator to have her own costume made. Gojo is delighted to learn this. He promises to do so while holding Saejuna's hand, his finest. But Saejuna suddenly passes out. The reason for this is that Saejuna comes from a family of girls, school, and she has never attended in her entire life. Had a physical relationship with a boy near her age. The day after that is the final day before the summer break begins. Gojo follows Marin's request and goes with her to the shore. There, as soon as they get close to the water, Marin is astonished by Gojo's response. She asks jokingly if it's his first time spent on the beach. It is, to her surprise. Even though Gojo's house is close to the beach, he never considered leaving where he was. Only fully focused on expanding his capacity for Hina Dolls. Marin just couldn't resist and asked if he wishes to go somewhere with her in the summer. We're the only two of us. Gojo expresses his happiness and desire for two. Marin, on the other hand, is panicking. She is criticizing herself for only saying that we are two. 2 weeks have passed since the summer break started. Gojo has also completed the outfits. Saejuna and Marin both look stunning. Marin is having a hard time because she is so amazed. Recognizing that it is her, they then proceed to the abandoned hospital. Marin and Saejuna are awaiting treatment at the hospital for Gojo and Shinyu. They are taking it for no apparent reason. So far, after a brief period of time of waiting, both finally show up. Marin and Saejuna, however, are upon seeing them. Shock. We returned to the day a few weeks ago. Everyone went to the defunct hospital. Shinyu wanted to make sure after they were finished. She wanted Saejuna to go home without her because there were some stores in this area. Gojo approached Shinyu shortly after Saejuna left and inquired once more about her cosplay interest, because her expression earlier in the restaurant was in contrast to what she said. Shinyu made it clear what she wanted. She has always desired to cosplay. However, she felt compelled to cosplay because of her bad looks, which everyone would mock. Saejuna. After that, Saejuna will begin to dislike her. Gojo was supportive. He advised her not to think this way because he knows how difficult it is to share your dream with someone. He once thought similarly to her, but someone came and encouraged him to think on his own. Shinyu was significantly more enthused after hearing Gojo, relaxed, and said that she wanted to play a man in the same anime as Marin. Also Saejuna. However, Shinyu is unsure whether the attire even suited her. Gojo takes her and tells her not to be worried. To his residence, he gives his school shirt there. Gojo is outside waiting while Shinyu is wearing it. Kodo checks inside after she finishes her workout. However, the sight is extremely unsettling. The button then disappears quickly like a bullet. Gojo realized how near death he was. Start thinking of a way to make Shinyu smaller. Size of a melon. Gojo used it after finding a way, but Shinyu still had trouble concealing them. As a result, they conduct some online research and found a means. Today, prior to visiting the defunct hospital, Gojo donned the wig and applied some makeup. Shinyu used the beholder they purchased. Was all set to go. Marin and Sajuna are both currently present. Are frightened to see how great Shinyu is observing, they immediately begin taking the photographs and performing the same scene from the anime again. Shinyu and Marin are working hard to take the photos. Sajuna expresses her gratitude in private for Gojo's assistance with her sister. She had no idea her sister was into cosplay, and she feels like a failure as a result. She is advised not to think that way by Gojo, because he can empathize with the courage it takes to share your preferences with others. Sajuna fell in love at this point with Gojo. On the other hand, while taking a picture of Marin, the beholder was no longer able to hold it, and the melons of Shinyu just burst open. With this, they conclude, and Shinyu returns home, starts editing the pictures and sends them later to Marin and Gojo. Marin and Gojo get together a few days later in Shibuya to take advantage of their summer break. Gojo hasn't visited this area and discovers himself a little uneasy. Gojo's tireless efforts to assist in making the ensemble, Marin chooses to gift him an outfit. The salesman is outside while Gojo is changing. He is stunned by Marin's stunning appearance. He is curious as to whether the man inside is her boyfriend. The salesman feels like puking when he sees Gojo. Nonetheless, compliments on the shirt's appearance good. Marin, on the other hand, was unable to utter a word. She starts forcing Gojo to wear different clothes. And also, Marin, on the other hand, never fails to just couldn't figure out how somebody this is possible to be attractive in this world. She intends to present each shirt to him, but then she'd run out of money. Finally, they both settle on purchasing the same together in a shirt. They enjoyed ice cream and ramen later. After all of this, they access the internet. Cafe. Gojo feels a little uneasy there because he is too close and there isn't much space between them. Toward Marin displays a manga she recently purchased. The protagonist is a female demon who is fallen. A boy who is an otaku. She adores the character's female character and believes that should do the cosplay. She believes, however, that the half-pigtails wouldn't flatter her and she'd ruin the persona. Gojo instructs her to refrain from he thinks it would cause her to doubt herself. Look wonderful on her. Marin's blushing begins. She has learned this from her beloved. Marin says she will do it. Marin sets out to get some things. Additionally, Gojo examines the character while she is absent to comprehend what he will produce. But when he looks at it, he is shocked to see that the costume can't be made with enough details, and he would have to rely on his this time around. Originality. Gojo is done with the costume a few days later. In addition, he and Marin are standing in front of an edifice. Marin chose to take the route there. Photo because it perfectly reflects the story's theme. At first, Gojo was unaware of it, but after when he enters the room, he realizes it is a hotel for lovers. He starts to panic. Marin immediately goes to change her outfit. In the interim, Gojo regains his composure. He turns on the television, but quickly realizes it's a blunder. Having said that, as Marin is still undergoing change, Gojo turns on the television and takes a brief peek. However, Marin suddenly appears and, in a state of panic, Gojo mutes the television. Marin is overjoyed at how well the costume fits. Came out. Gojo lacked confidence in the project, but he is happy to see Marin's reaction. After covering the cosmetics and other supplies, Marin is doing very well. Gojo begins taking photographs from a variety of angles. Gojo made a list of all possible positions in the while he was reading manga. He then gets on the bed for the final pose and instructs Marin to climb over him. Gojo takes the picture after she sits. The photo is turned and the point of view is excellent. Out fantastic. Marin says she is extremely pleased with it and how much she enjoyed today. But just at that moment, Gojo realizes what's going on. He has placed himself and he attempts to get up out of his panic, but the light and the remote were accidentally hit. Shuts down. They find themselves in an unusual situation. Strangely, they begin to speak up and are just about to kiss. But then the phone rings. When Gojo responds, they are informed about their passing away. Marin is red-faced. She regrets answering the phone. They return to their residence after changing. She's doing at Marin's house the following day. Her assignments while Gojo is assisting her. They both watch after she finishes it. Horror film Marin chooses the genre, and it appears that she fairly composed about it. With Gojo, however, this is not the case. However, as the movie progresses, the tranquility Marin has vanished, and she is now extremely terrified. Gojo, on the other hand, is thoroughly enjoying it. The following day marks the end of summer vacation. Gojo goes outside to meet Marin for the festival of fireworks. Marin appears after some time in a yukata. Gojo is heavily blushing when she first sees her. Marin's heart quickens when she notices the reaction. Begins to pound hard. The start of the fireworks will take some time. Prior to that, they frequently purchase food. The fireworks begin at long last. It's a stunning sight to see. Gojo is amazed because it is his first time, because he used to always be working on the dolls of Hina. However, today he is extremely pleased to share the time I had with Marin. Marin's feet hurt from all the walking they did, are suffering. Gojo makes an effort to go with bandages, but Marin prevents him and rolls over on his back. Gojo was extremely nervous at first, but he soon calms down and holds her head while carrying her to the train station. Marin suggests on the way that the following year they should watch in a different area, the pyrotechnics. Gojo concurs. Knowing that they will be together makes him happy. The following year, too. Back at home, as Gojo prepares to go to sleep, Marin calls him. He takes it in and learns that Marin is terrified following a horror film. Someone will emerge from the mirror in fear. Marin asks Gojo to just talk to him, prior to her going to bed. Gojo concurs. They talk for hours and have a good time, and talking about the highlights of their lives. Gojo has fallen asleep. He tells Marin stories and offers a single-word response. Marin could hear Gojo sleeping after some time. She admits her love at this moment, and goodnights him.